to Hades, the reformer of hooker whores, and the bronze god, the one, the only, the legendary Chris Bay.
Good afternoon to the good people. Good afternoon to the bad people, friends and enemies. And a good afternoon, boom, shakalaka to you all. I am Chris Base. Welcome into BaseLine. We gather here every Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central, and 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Wanting you to be well where you are. To connect this program, of course, it's me, one man, one mic, one world. Various ways connected to the program. And here we go. Of course, the YouTube channel, the Chris Base channel, all one word with a period at the end of the channel. Make sure you subscribe, like, and share. Facebook Live, got it on there too. I am the Base on Instagram. The phone number, 312-597-2106. Again, 312-597-2106. And of course, if you're so bold, so brave, continue to comment in the peanut gallery there in the comment section, or be a little bit braver and ask for the link, the show link. And I'll put it there in the comment section to click on and be on the screen with me with your comments and questions and whatever else is inside that cranium of yours. Only one rule that I have when I do this program is the time-honored tradition. No pee freaks. Hashtag PR, about to say, well, I can't even spell. PEEP FREAKS. Make my peep a peep freak. Again, peep freaks are people who enjoy the summertime. They really do. They tell me all the time, Base, we love the summer. We bask in it. We put on our suntan lotion and we bow down to the sun god. And we sun raw, get sun and get raw, as they told me. And this is before they faint when they see me, the bronze god. So when they get up from fainting and tanning, let them know, you okay? Yeah, I'm great. I got this tan. Got this tan, man. I look great. So either they stick for the program and stick around, either they leave or go about their merry way, or they stick and stay. So it's entirely up to them. Entirely up to them. Go out and venture out and say hello to Barbara Jean. And Barbara Jean's on Facebook Live and, of course, the YouTube channel. Thank you so much. Barbara Jean, happy Friday to you, too. Doc Sanders, Doc BaseLine to the key. Thank you so much as we revel and enjoy our Free Your Mind on this particular Friday. Lots to cover, lots to talk about. Again, dealing with today's temperature in the political world. We'll do a deep dive into that. Also, anything else is on your mind you want to talk about, please, once again, have the options to be a part of this program. Once again, thank you all for being here. So President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin are in Anchorage, Alaska for a meeting now for a landmark summit focused on ending the war in Ukraine. The two leaders did not answer shouted questions from the press as the meeting began. After touching down in Anchorage, Putin and Trump shook hands and departed for the summit together in Trump's presidential vehicle known as the Beast. The two leaders appeared to be alone together in the back seat, giving them a chance to speak privately. Shut out of the talks to the alarm of his European allies is Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, who has warned that decisions taken in his absence will be meaningless. In the 24 hours leading up to the Russian summit, Russian strikes killed 7 civilians and injured 17 more across multiple Ukrainian regions. Meanwhile, Ukrainian strikes injured 12 in Russia's Kursk and Belgorod regions. Zelensky and said Russia's strikes are proof that the Kremlin is not serious about ending the war. Hold on, I'm gonna say I gotta take this call. It's my sister. I don't think she knows I'm doing the show. So here we go. It was up to right in the middle of the show. What's up? Yeah. I don't know how many I got left, but you can check. Okay, cool. Oh, you got it. Okay, bye bye. Bye bye. You know how family is, but no, she apologized. So yeah, I'm sorry about that. Going back to the whole thing with the summit, and again, let me finish this statement about the what's happening in 24 hours. Zelensky said Russia's strikes are proof that the Kremlin is not serious about ending the war. Now, the fact that someone like 47, when you look at the dress down months ago when he invited Zelensky to the White House and him and J.D. Vance and all the other people in there ganged up on Zelensky, talking about his appearance, he had a suit on and everything else, and just dressed him down in front of the nation, which was deplorable. And here you are having a war between Russia and Ukraine, but you won't invite the leader of Ukraine at this meeting. It is disturbing, to say the very least. And then, in the guise of so called peace coming from 47, you would have think, or would have thought, or continue to think, that the war was started by Ukraine, which was not. It was started by the Russians. It was started by Putin. But let some MAGA people and some right wing people, and especially Trump, you would think that it was because of Ukraine. No, it was not. Let's not get it twisted here. Let's not drink twisted tea. This is from Russia. Now, the question becomes, do you want land for peace? Which is the reason why the Russians invaded Ukraine in the first place, was to get land from them. So, do you give Putin what he wants, or do you sit back and wait? Does Trump really want peace, or does he want a piece of the peace? And what I mean by that, as you know, he is the finest grifter in chief we ever had in office. So what's in it for him? Not what's in it for the United States of America. What's in it for him? What can he get out of this deal? Uh, going. Yeah. Hold on. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah. When you again look at the dynamic of this whole thing between Ukraine and Russia in the first place, you have to look at the people involved. And the people involved, someone who was in charge of the KGB, who obviously can't be trusted. And then you look at Trump, who can't be trusted. uh, Going back to even to Helsinki in 2018. Let's go back to when Trump was first president back in his first term. Which I know you don't want to, but follow me on this. I mentioned before in this program. When you look at Trump's vitriol and cockiness and being a bully, which is what he is, and then to see him in Europe go through all these different phases of bullying, being mean spirited to people, name calling. But he gets over to Helsinki, to the summit there with Putin, and he's quiet. He's not barbaric, he's docile, even. Why? Because he was standing across from his boss at the podium there. Oh, cuss out your boss. Let's just, let's just, want to get fired or want to quit, pretty much. I mean, look at it. Look at his behavior pattern during that time. Just think about it. If he was that bad bitch from Boston, he would continue, of course, his rhetoric. But he didn't back in 2018. And when it comes to Putin, I'm telling you, he's very, very quiet. So you can control, of course, who you are in public and where you are in private. But still, it's the fact that his behavior pattern changed. So we fast forward to where we are now. Again, to not have Zelensky there in that meeting is another slap in the face, is another dress down, and it's very insulting, and he should be there. Bet you back out to the comment section. Hey, what's up, Jed? Says, greetings, Base Nation. MSNBC was shook by the crazy who benefits. Yeah, like I was saying, Jed, I think we don't know who really benefits from this, and the so-called land for peace, all we can do is sit back and watch now, sit back and see. I think, again, because of Trump cowering down, always kowtow to Putin. And he may just give Putin what he wants, even though really, and I was watching the news, they said Putin's not as strong, as effective as he was, say, years ago. Say, of course, with the 2016 election having an influence on that and getting, well, concerned, getting Trump elected. The man does still wield some sort of power, going back to Putin. So I wouldn't trust Putin as far as I could throw his ass. He's still in play. As far as I'm concerned, he's still in play. Someone like him, you can't erase and can't just tow out. You can't do that. Shout out to Real Wise Radio for having this program on as we partnership with this program and my man Real Wise, Wilfredo, my man. Thank you so much again for having us collaborate and taking the ride with us every Friday at 5 p.m., 5 p.m., 4 p.m., 2 p.m. There you go. We appreciate that. You know, it's funny. I was doing my notes again, my together for the day, and was the damnedest of shame. You and I had a conversation before that this particular president has inserted himself into damn near every walk of life. Pretty much. Why? To keep his name out there. He loves to hear his name. He kisses his own ass. That's a hell of a feat to see. I don't want to see him do it, but he does it very effectively. As we go into these other stories, some of these stories, a lot deal with him. And it's on purpose. Again, as I told you before, I've covered news and doing news talk for going on 31 years. And this is the most insane time that I've seen and have heard and have witnessed. I always tell you, we're not living in the world we're living in. We're not. It's a bizarro world. I keep telling you. Right is left, down is up, right is left. You know, everything's discombobulated. There was a time when the world made some sort of sense, but not nowadays because of who's in office and the person who controls or tries to control situations where he is involved in everything. Literally, news cycle every 10 to 15 minutes. I kid you not. And I keep laying this out because this is part of the problem. We have this particular president. This is part of the idiocy that we have with him. And it's not going anywhere soon. Again, my people, we're not even finished with the first year yet. Look how much crap we've been involved in with him. Complete mass destruction. Complete. And I don't know about you, but again, I'm already exhausted. I mean, covering it. And like I thought about this before. And I had similar thoughts before in the past when he was in his first term. Should I not cover Trump? or do Trump light? And I thought about it for a while, and I said, no, I have to do this because I covered other presidents before. So why should I give him a free pass? Because of course, I do news and commentary, so it just has to happen that way. Does it make me sick? Oh yes, it does. But it has to be done. Good afternoon, Omar says, hello, Chris, and hello to Barbara Jean. Thank you, Omar, for being here as well. How you doing? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to one Sick Diggy. How you doing, Sick? Thank you for being here. How you doing as well? As we're all coming through for the excursion. So I was saying about Trump again. So you and I have to be aware of what's going on around here. We have to not ignore this, and it cannot become normal. It cannot. Can't have that. I am fine, Chris. It's hot here in Georgia. Yeah, it's hot here in Chicago too, in Illinois. Well, what we got here currently? 89 degrees currently here. Yeah, I haven't been outside yet. I gotta go out later. I got some deliveries coming later on. But yeah, it ain't nothing to mess with. Sometimes I'll get out for a little bit just to kind of warm up a little bit because I'll get cold sometimes, and I'll go out just to get a little warm up, and then come back inside. But yeah, that humidity ain't no joke. Okay, he's talking to Barbara Jean, so let me get out of that. That's sick. See, 92 degrees there in Georgia. Yeah, man. Yeah, stay cool. Well, I'm a basic message for everybody. Yeah, stay cool. Stay indoors, especially if you have health conditions. Yeah, stay indoors. Stay your ass inside. Ooh wee. So again, when they showed the brief presser with the summit, and you had let's see, you had Putin on the left side, and then Trump on the right, and Putin had his advisors, and Trump had his. I saw little Mario Rubio, there as part of the council. I'm like, okay, I know this ain't gonna go right at all. It's funny. That's what Trump called Marco Rubio back in the day. But I think it was during his first term, called him Little Mario. And now, since Marco Rubio's become very obedient, now he's serving on his staff. See how that works? Amazing. Barbara, I only went outside to retrieve the mail. Absolutely. You got to be careful. And so, Omar Tight, I'm inside right now. Yeah, look after yourself. Look after yourself. Look after your loved ones, especially again with health conditions, health issues. Make sure that they are all right. Let's see. Putin was asked if he would agree to a ceasefire. He only raised his eyebrow, looked to the side, and shook his head. Uh, Asked if he commits to killing any more civilians, Putin cupped his hands around his mouth and said, let's go in Russian. The civilian totals there have been through the roof of civilians, for example, killed in this war. So obviously the war must come to an end on that alone. But as I stated, in 24 hours, the back and forth was still going on. They didn't even have a ceasefire for the summit, mind you. Not even for the summit. Because sometimes you might have uh, some people in negotiations will have a ceasefire while negotiations are going on. Hey, Diane Hawkins, one of my favorite people. How you doing, Diane? Thank you very much for being here. Diane and I, of course, I told you before, went to Kenwood Academy together in high school, and I was also the godmother to my two daughters. She's very close to me. I love her tremendously. So, Diane, how was the reunion? So, Kenwood Academy celebrated uh, 40 years, 40 anniversary, 40th anniversary of the graduation of the 1985 class. So how was that? I've seen the pictures online. Like everybody had a good time. I could have gone, but I decided not to. I just had to make a decision not to. But I did say I was very moved by what I saw. Um, I had a couple of people reach out to me, and of course, that's where I met my wife Vicky at. And so, one of the presentations, I was told they put the pictures up of students who went there and had passed away. And someone told me Vicky's picture put up there first. Yeah, had I attended, I don't know if I could. I would have been crying my ass off. So I'm still mixed about not going, but I did think about it. In the future, if Kenwood has another um, get together or sort of reunion, I think I'll go next time. I think I will. But what I see, it looked fun, like a lot of fun. Well, I seen the reunion. Hold on a second. Let me take care of this one. Okay, so let's see here. I don't know. I got all this activity, so please forgive me. A little more activity more than usual, so I'm just okay. So there we go. Back to the program. Sorry about that. I'm so these days. Yeah. Thank you, Barbara Jane. Yeah, it happens. Okay, so the 40th reunion was amazing. We had fun seeing each other. Yes, they honored Vicky. It was kind of like speed dating. Everyone got a quick update on each other's lives. Yeah, that's nice to know. I like I said before, from what I can see of the pictures, some people have some videos. Yeah, it looked pretty cool. But I do miss you all. I do. I saw some of the videos again online. Memories start to flow back to the front of my skull, and I started thinking about our days back there at Kenwood. But yeah, I got a lot of work to do. I got to lose this weight, get more mobile, and I'm on the mend. I mean, I'm trying to lose weight now, and that's one thing I take care of personally. So hopefully by the next time I get together, I should be straight. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see. It was kind of deep too because we're getting older, and 10 years from now we'll be 68. Yeah, I know, right? It reminds me of that Beatles song. Will you still need me? Will you still feed me? No, when I'm 64 in this situation, and I'm 68, I'm old as fuck. That type of thing. So yeah. Let's see. What is that? I can't see. I'm blind as a motherfucker. What's that? What you got there, Diane? Hold on. Okay, I can't see that. I'm blind, boy. Diane with the laughing emojis. Yeah, well, it's I said it before. Getting old ain't for the punk. It's not. You got to be a strong-willed person to put up with age. I mean, I'm telling you, it is not for the punk. If you a punk, don't get old. Do not even think about trying to get up in there. You have to be strong. Now, you can get into a situation where you can bend over to pick up a remote control and throw your back out. That's how old I am. I have done it before. Dang, I don't have earplugs. Going back to Barbara J. Okay, Barbara, let's settle this once for all. I'm tired of this shit. I only sang, and we'll call it sing. I don't call it sing. I just call it trying to do something. I did not give you a whole song or chorus. I didn't give you that. I just gave you one stanza. Now, one stanza, a couple words is not worth the ear bleeding. I could give you some ear bleeding. Now, you really want to play with me? I can give you some ear bleeding. I can butcher up a song like anybody else. But I just said a little bit. You talk about dangling their earplugs. Here's the thing. I know I can't sing, but there's people out there who don't know that. Think about it. Now, mind you, in the shower, I am fantastic. I am. My resume, I did sing in the church choir back in the day. I did. So that gives me some sort of cachet, but I know I can't sing. But is that one little stanza that's not going to hurt anybody? It's not. Man, I was dealing with what did they plantar? What was that fasciitis? Well, I can't. I'm sorry. I got new glasses. During the reunion, wasn't pretty. Everybody got their aches and pains. I'm telling you, everybody got something. There was a book that anchor Robin Robert, not Robin Roberts. Robin Roberts had come out with. Everybody got something, and that's definitely a truism. Everybody got something. Let's see. Other classmates asked about you. They did? Oh man, thank you, Diane. I'll share this with everybody. I just thought that people forgot about me. If I just want to play just ego real quick, I just thought people forgot about me. And that's okay because we all move on, all get older and stuff like that. I don't take it personally, but I just thought that I was only there for 3 years. So there are people like Diane, of course, my wife Vicky, who I eventually, of course, we got married. That's how much she liked me. I always thought she took pity on me, but that was a running joke that we had. My great friend and brother Ken Smith, my other great friend and brother James Wardfolk. Who else I've met along the way? I still know Kathy Ford. I could go on. There's a few. And then I just, in my mind, I just think that, yeah, people move on. I don't remember, I want to say black ass, somewhat brown ass. I would say that more crack. I mean, I used to have a good butt, but it's gone, man. I got more gut than butt. So I'm like Count Crackula these days. So yeah, somebody forgot about my crack. I probably would forget about my crack too. I would definitely agree with them in that capacity. Let's see. I'm still in touch with 2 individuals from my graduating class of 73. The rest of them can kiss wherever the sun doesn't shine. I never ever attended a class reunion, never will. That's a Barbara Jane. Oh yeah. And I felt the same way. I did until I saw the 40th. Again, going back to Kenwood, and I really felt bad. I should have at least attended one. Of course, it was a weekend event. It was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and I should have picked one of them. But again, hindsight calls the classic 2020. But I should have went. And like I said before, I just got a lot of stuff I got to work out and go through in general in my personal life. But hmm yeah, I got to be more focused for next year, so that'll be pretty cool. I remember I went to the 10th, and I didn't have a good time at the 10th reunion. It was okay. So I'll tell it again. So for those of you who heard the story, please forgive me. This is for people who are new and never heard it before. Let's see. You could have gone to the picnic. See, again, afterthought by that point. Um, I would have liked to attend the Saturday night event at the where'd you guys go for Saturday night? What restaurant was that? See, I would have gone to that. Somewhere I could sit the entire fuck down. Not saying I can't sit down at the picnic, but I think I bring your own lawn chair, so like that, depending on. So yeah, that's and you got to deal with mosquitoes and flies and snakes and rats and lions and tigers and bears, all my type of stuff. Yeah, I don't know if I could. I'm not too good outdoors. But the Saturday night event that I saw looked pretty elegant, looked pretty nice. I could rock and roll with that. The 10-year anniversary. So again, bear with me with the story. We heard it before. So Vic comes home from Walgreens, wherever, and she told me, "Do you remember a guy named? It was like Jim or John, something like that." And I was like, "From Kenwood." I said, "No, not offhand. Not to come to mind. No." Well, he went to Kenwood with us. He said he went to gym with you, John, Jim, JYM. No, I don't remember him. Well, he remembers you. At this time, I was out of work. I got fired from WLS so I was out of work. And so she was like, my wife said, "Well, he wants to hire you. Think about hiring you for security." At the time, he was security for R. Kelly because R. Kelly also went to Kenwood. So he was head of security, looking for some other security guards, and wanted to know maybe you two could talk. I said, "Okay, I'm gonna go anyway to the picnic." I said, "I'll go." I don't remember dude at all, but I'm sure if I drink some Heineken, some beer, something like that, if I drink some Heineken, I'll be high again, and then maybe it will open the synapses of my skull to remember this person you're talking about. Okay, cool. So we get there, and we have our daughters with us. They were kids by that point; they were small children, and we get there, and out the gate, and I hate this when we were a family. Everybody, I'm not exaggerating, everybody would come up to us, "Oh, Vicky, the girls look just like you." Now let's pause the tape. Now, I had a hand in this. I didn't give birth, mind you. That's my wife. But I had a hand in it. But you think some of my DNA would be with these two kids? Oh no. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Nope. And hell no. Uh Cherie, this is my husband Chris. Yeah, right. Oh, these kids look just like you. Damn me. This blatant disrespect. That's like Rodney Dangerfield. Oh, I got no respect at all. You know what I'm saying? I mean, no respect. None. So out the gate, I'm already pissed. Let's see here. So Diane types, we were at the Doubletree. Right, I remember now. Someone told me that. Doubletree Hotel near Midway Airport. That's the event they honored Kenwood Angels, including our girl Vicky. Uh, and who's that? And Jim was there. Who's Jim? I'm sorry. Who's JEM? Who's Jim? I'm sorry. You know me. I'm old, man. So we get there, and I told you about the whole thing. Everybody thinks that the kids look like Vicky. I'm like, okay, this is bullshit. All right. So then we walk in. So we get settled in, see people that we knew, and then she introduced me to. I'll just say the guy was named John or Jim. I think I always thought, okay, whatever his name. Let's say John for the conversation. John, this is Chris. Hey, Chris, how you doing? Uh, hold on, let me get this. Oh, Jim, the head of security for R. Kelly. Oh, okay. Is that his name, Jim? John? It's a dude, right? Jim, the head of security. I see my ass. I thought his name was John. Whatever his name is, Is it gym? That's what you're saying, Diane? Okay, so I don't know. Oh, gym. Oh, let's go with what? Well, okay. Yes, yes. Thank you. Okay, thank you so much. I stand corrected. I thought his name was John all these damn years. Okay, Jim. GEM. Got it. Woo! Don't get old. Okay, so going back to the story. Back in the time. So Jim. Right, got it. Thank you, Diane. So we sit down, and I told him from the beginning of the conversation, I said, dude, I'm gonna tell you up front, I don't remember you. It's been 10 years that you know. I had a lot going on in my life. Um, I'm sure if we continue to talk, then I'll remember you. Damn, man, we had 3 years of gym. Let me say it again. Let me say it again. Again, I apologize for not knowing who you are. I'm sure we sit here, drink a few beers, reminisce and everything else. If I drink Heineken, I'll get high again. So let's continue to this and then I'll try to remember. But damn, man, we had 3 years of gym together. I asked him, did we have any classes outside of gym together? No, we didn't. Okay. Did we ever cut class together outside of Kenwood? No, no, we didn't. Did we ever meet at the McDonald's or any other place outside of Kenwood? No. So you're saying the only time I knew you was in 3 years of gym straight, right? Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, I don't remember. I'm sorry. Now, had we had other classes together and had we socialized outside of Kenwood, I think I probably would remember, dude. But I didn't. So he gets pissed at me, not remembering. I'm sorry. Everybody's built differently. Don't get me started with 10 years. In 10 years, let's see, my grandmother and my dad passed away within 2 weeks of each other. I eventually got married, have 2 kids, trying to live life, got fired from this recent gig, and you want to come up with this bullshit about 3 years of gym. Gym. We ain't talking about biology or typing or algebra or anything like that. We're talking about gym. It kind of remember Allen Iverson. We talk about practice. It felt like that type of thing. We're talking about practice. We're talking about gym. JYM, gym, basketball, do-si-do, square dancing. You promenade, gym. I I I was flabbergasted, and rarely am I flabbergasted, but I was that day. Got mad at me, and I remember him from 3 years of gym. So there you go. You know what? If he was there, like you said before, he was there at the event. I don't know if I even remember him looking like whatever he looks like now. If I would have attended, he would have come up to me talking about, "Yeah, man, yeah." I mean, it was a blessing I didn't go because I'm not going to relive that shit all over again. Are you kidding me? I mean, we were 10 years out of high school. Imagine the 40th anniversary, and he was still talking about 3 years of gym. Gym. Thank you, Barbara. It's. I can understand if we were in a class. Say, I even throw in home economics, biology, Spanish. Hell, something. Hell, when I was back at Kenwood, I took Spanish, and we had the high school contest for Spanish. What was it? I think it was for reciting Spanish quotes or something like that, or yeah, plays or whatever the quote was. You had to recite it and go in there and compete, and then go from there. It was at Curry High School. I came in second place. I did. So if we had some class together outside of gym, I probably would try to remember, dude. Let's see. We go back to the comment section. I don't think Kenwood has a gym. Are you kidding me? They have a fitness center that rivals Planet Fitness. Oh my God. Okay, that's where you guys were. Okay, I remember some of the pictures again from online. Yeah. Amazing. Let's see. Yeah, I did see some. Okay, I know where you guys were for fitness. Man, could you imagine that? I mean, could you imagine going to school now with those type of fitness machines? Yeah, you saw it for yourself, Diane. What was the fool talking about? As I said before, man, we talking about GYM Gym. And again, we had 3 years taking gym together. I couldn't figure him out in the lineup. I couldn't spot him in the lineup. I'm sorry. I just didn't remember, dude. The principal took us on a nice tour to school. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Back to the comment section. What's up, Walter? Let's see. Bobo. I have no idea what that means. I know that, but I don't know whose name is that. Let's see. Chris, I took home economics in high school. Two, and that's history. Those are my majors in high school. Omar type. Right. I didn't take home ec. My wife took home ec. Well, I was my wife then, but Vic took home ec, and that's where I learned about what did Vic used to cook for me. What was it, blueberry muffins? Because I was a guinea pig, but this time, we're boyfriend and girlfriend, so she wanted to test out what she learned at home ec. So I remember I learned about blueberry muffins and how to make onion rings. Yeah, that was tight. Yeah, that was all right there. Let's see. Back to the comment section. What's up, Lorenzo? How you doing? Hello, all jumping in for a few. How you doing, brother? Good to see you again. Yeah, I gotta have you back on the show one day, man, just to chop it up. I'll get an update with you. Lorenzo Clemens is a really great brother. I told him I first saw him when he made an appearance in the first Barbershop movie. So when you see the lawyer that tossed to Calvin Jr., that Calvin is not going to get done. Every time I see that scene, I think about Lorenzo. So I know he's doing great things as always. And been acting for a while. He has a great background. So I had him on the program. So I had to do a reconnect with you, my brother. How you doing, Lorenzo? Thank you for stopping by. How's everything going in your world? Yeah, one day if you're free for BaseLine, please let me know. I'll reach out to you, and then we'll make something happen. That'll be cool. Lorenzo, great brother. Thank you for being here. So as we're sitting here reminiscing about high school and everything, I am, and we are in general. Oh my God, yeah, that whole gym thing, that was a pisser for a long time, Doc. It really was because it made no sense to me. And like I said before, as we've gone through the whole thing in the conversation with Diane also being there, part of the festivities for Kenwood Academy's 40th anniversary of that class reunion. Oh my God. I'm glad he wasn't. I'm glad I wasn't there because if I saw the dude again, I still wouldn't know who the hell he was. Mm, mm, mm. Jesus, Mary and JoJo. Can't make this stuff up. Let's see. Barbara, I took home ec. Yeah, home ec was very popular. Like I said before, I didn't take it. Vic did. And it was fun because, see, when we were dating and I go over to her house on Saturdays, ironically, on PBS, they had on cooking shows. So, of course, we were familiar with growing up with Julia Child, the French chef. But then by this point, all my favorite, God rest his soul, Justin Wilson used to be on. Watch Juice Stand, because that's what he called. That's how he said his mother called himself. His mother used to call him, because he lived out in Louisiana and by the bayous. I told you, love the intro because my man code switched on everybody. Through my time growing up in the bayous of Louisiana, I learned great cooking from my family. And now I pass on to you. My name is Justin Wilson. Applause from the audience. He comes in, hey, how y'all do? And it got that Creole hard accent. Yeah, he code switch on our asses. He did. But he was fun. He was a lot of fun. And even if he wasn't in the cooking, told some great stories. And I missed him a lot. He was part of the reason why I started watching cooking shows because of him. Cooking was not, just one of those things, it's just a passing type of thing. But because of him, I started to watch a lot of cooking shows. Him, then Martin Yan Can Cook used to come on during that time. So sometimes Vic would do these experimentations of the stuff she learned at home ec and have me, again, as the guinea pig myself, test out what she was cooking. So yeah, I have fond memories of that. Home ec. God is good, and it's my pleasure to chop it up. Yeah, man, we'll make it happen. Like I said, I got to remind myself. I'll reach out to you, my man Lorenzo Clemens, and we'll do that. And speaking of acting, because Lorenzo acts, as a matter of fact, I saw on social media that, and Barbara Jean, you probably know this because you follow WVON. Didn't I think he did? Was it Lawrence Hilton Jacobs, best known for being Freddie Boom Boom Washington on Welcome Back Carter back in the day. Yeah, he had appeared because then they celebrate the anniversary of Cooley High, I believe, and I believe he was there. So Barbara Jean, I remember seeing the promos for it online. According to my classmates, I made the best hot chocolate. Okay, look at you, Barbara Jean, with the hot chocolate. Hot chocolate. I'm sure there's somebody's stripper name out there. Hot chocolate. Yeah, so I do believe that Lawrence Hilton Jacobs was in town to celebrate the anniversary of Cooley High, and they had him on WVON. I believe that's what I saw on social media. Let's see. Lorenzo, old school gym in the 60s was to swim naked, no swimsuits. Well, I'll be completely transparent with you, Lorenzo. I wish that would have kept up by the time I went to high school. I went to high school in the 80s. To swim naked, to see those girls' bodies when I was a teenager, yeah, man. Yeah, that would be nice. Lorenzo, Cooley High, 50 years. Man, that's a long time. Great movie. It was hard for me to watch because it paralleled how I felt about Ben Wilson. Him being a good friend of mine and him getting shot down. It reminded me parallel to that. Cooley High, Coach Cortese with the swish and playing basketball for Cooley High and was on his way to a good scholarship. So yeah, it's hard for me to watch that now. Wait, what do you say, Lorenzo? Girls had suits, dudes were bare butt. Oh, hold on, let me get this. This is unfair practices. You mean to tell me that when you went to high school, Lorenzo, in the 60s, that girls had the suits on and the dudes were butt booty hole naked? Oh, that's an injustice. I don't approve of that message. Mm, that's not fair. You got the girls. Don't get me wrong. You talk about fair practices. You got the girls have on suits, and the guys out here, got the old booty hole out and everything else. And you got. I'm not. Well, I'm glad. What do you say? Diane, you're fainting. Well, hey, man. Mm-mm. Man, got their butts out like that. I couldn't take it. I take that back. I'm under the impression. I was like, that's very liberating. uh, to have both boys and girls, but that's a whole sexual thing. They don't want to get into getting sued. But yeah, it's very unkind to have the guys, got and I hate to say it, guys with no type of control down there. How did that work out? Well, hell, Lorenzo, you went through it. How did that work out? Not saying you in particular. I'm talking about the other guys. I mean, okay, we're all adults here. If the dudes have hard-ons, then how would they swim? Maybe the cold weather, maybe not cold, but maybe the cold water got them for shrinkage. Now, I remember when I did take swimming in high school, we had to literally take a cold shower first. They told us to go to this cold rinse that came from above, there in the area before you went out to the pool. Get cold, so they put the cold water on. You got standing for a couple of seconds. I guess that was supposed to give you shrinkage down there. I didn't know what the philosophy was. Now I'm sitting there thinking about it. Give the guys shrinkage, and then when to worry about going on with extra paddling. If you get my drift. Let's see. What else we got here? So I love that song. Well, now, what song are you referring to now, Barbara Jane? What you got there? Let's see. Corey Rogers, Jackie Taylor, Steve Williams, local actors, and Cooley High. I remember that. Yeah, Jackie Taylor with her black ensemble went on to do great things. And I remember, of course, her in Cooley High when she was younger, because remember, had those parties, and she was like, "Do whatever you do, don't break the brake front, don't touch the brake front." You know what happened to the scene? Of course, the brake front got broke, but she would appear in some movies that were filmed in Chicago. I remember she was in the second barbershop movie. That, and then she popped up in the movie Hoodlum that was also filmed here in Chicago, and that was with Lawrence Fishburne playing. Hold on a second. Don't tell me. I had the name right there. Damn it, don't get old. Bumpy Johnson. There you go. The brain still works for now. Bumpy Johnson. So yeah, he played that, and she played the mother of a young man who got shot and killed, and he was flipped the bill for the funeral, and she was crying her eyes out, and she was telling pretty much how much she did not like Bumpy Johnson. Let's see. Okay. Oh, it's so hard to say goodbye. Hell of a song. Hell of a song. Yeah, even the remake with Boys to Men was pretty tight too. So yeah. Hell of a song. Okay, so we had a guy pleading himself in the locker room, so we threw him naked out in the snow. We said, "Oh, you talking about was he pleasuring himself in the locker room?" He said, "Yeah." So maybe it's a myth. He had a guy pleading himself in the locker room, so we threw him naked out into the snow. Wait a minute, was he pleasuring himself in the locker room? She has some freaks. Diane Lorenzo, what school did you go to? Uh, good grief, in the snow, naked? Yeah. We did a play together at Victory Gardens. This is something else. Well, it needs Mountain Dew, written by Steve Carter. Okay, that's another thing altogether. But Diane was talking about the whole thing about throwing the guy out in the snow, but booty hole naked. I think the word you're trying to say was it because you said pleading himself. Pleading himself in the locker. Oh, so was it pleasuring himself in the locker room? Jeez, you can't wait to get home. You can't wait to get home. If that's the case, you're gonna pleasure yourself in the locker room. You can't wait to get home. Pleasuring. That's what I thought you said. Okay, all right. That's what you want to type. Pleasuring himself in the locker room. Ooh wee, freak of the week. So Lorenzo, okay, so Lorenzo attended Farragut High School back in the day in the '60s. Yes, freaks. Ooh wee. We say y'all were ruthless. Yeah, good for you guys for throwing that freak of the week into the snow there. That's great. That's all right there. So, since talk about high school memories. So, I remember we had a teacher, gym teacher, named Emma Brown, Miss Brown. Miss Brown used to break a lot of people's hearts. I know a lot of students like myself. And I prayed that I would have her for a gym teacher. I never did. But she had a lot of good attributes about herself. She was a hourglass figure woman, and she was very voluptuous, very athletic, obviously, and very sexy. And there was rumor around the campfire that she had sex with young teenage boys like myself. And I could not wait to get to her class so I could be the next candidate. I prayed to have her as my instructor for gym, but it never happened. Let's see. Okay, so you went back to alma mater. So I was a teacher at Farragut early 70s. Okay, thank you, Lorenzo. That's pretty cool to go back to alma mater and teach. But yeah, going back to high school. Oh my God, yeah, I could not wait. I'm telling you. And then of course you talk about, hey, I don't know if it was true or not when it came to that, but of course young boy fantasies of having sex like that. There's sex with older women too. They can teach you and show you a few things. I wanted it to be me. I see it in front. I mean, I was like 14, 15. That's what I was thinking at the time. I can't take the same mind I have now and go back there. I got called like I said. I called like it was. Man, you got Miss Brown? Yeah, man. Oh shit. I mean, I'd be pissed. I don't even. I felt good for my brother, whoever he was, getting in class with Miss Brown. We had two Miss Browns. We had Joyce Brown and Emma Brown. I'm talking about Emma Brown. Joyce Brown, ironically, was my first gym teacher at Kenwood when I first got there. So she was my first gym teacher. Now, moving forward, yeah, you hear rumblings about the whole Emma Brown thing. Oh my God, yes. Even if I just want to go visit, the class just to see her move around. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Woo. Yeah, so there you go. But yeah, seriously, it was just nice to reminisce and how these memories come back. It was pretty cool. Let's see. What do you say, Diane? Wow, I never heard that rumor. Well, I guess that was the rumor with the guys. Yes, it was, Diane. Yes. And looking back at hindsight, maybe the rumor was not true. 'Cause once again, it's a rumor, as we just stated. But it was a fun rumor to me because I tried before. I said I was up there, man, please let me get in the class. Let's see. So Lorenzo, what was great about our school in the 60s and 70s had great teachers from HBCUs. And yes, as a student, my teachers was fine. And when I went back to teach, I hit on them as an adult. Good for you, Doc. Look, man, I ain't mad at you. Look, I love your honesty. I love how you feel about that because, oh my God. Mm, the teachers were quite fine. Quite fine. When I was in eighth grade, um, when I was in eighth grade, I had a teacher, and I know she did this shit on purpose. I know she did. I can't prove it, but I know she did. So she would sit on the front of the desk. Yes, Diane, that is funny about what Lorenzo type because I love it. Sitting on the front of her desk, had her glasses down to her nose, had a bun in the back of her hair, reading the book, reciting the book to us. She had crossed her legs. She crossed those wonderful gams that she had over her kneecap and dangled her right foot because the shoe came off a little bit and was dangling it. That shit turned me on. I can sit here in front. That was delicious. And she knew what she was doing. I'm sorry. She knew it because she did it every now and again. It was almost seductive. Really. She knew what she was doing. She crossed those gams and this is where she had some pantyhose on. I remember this was before 10 a.m. recess. And I got so hard that I had to stay in and not go out for recess. Christopher, don't you want to go outside? No, thank you. I'll stay inside. That's okay. I sure did. Was it Lorenzo? It's still a turn on. LOL. Yeah, yeah, Doc. Yeah, that was the last thing that was the last thing on my mind was something like that. But then I got a good look of what she was doing. Oh yeah. Made no type of sense whatsoever. But hey, put it like this: I stayed in a lot when recess happened at 10 a.m. I was like, no, I'll just read a book or something. You're not feeling well? No, I'm not. I'm okay. I just need to sit here for a little bit. So I had to wait till everything was regular down there. Not shrinkage. My job. I know Barbara did type LOL shrinkage like that, but no, not shrinkage. No, just bring it down 5,000. Literally. Woo, man, I'm telling you. Yeah, it's hard out here for a pimp. Let's see here. And again, you know what time it is. Of course, it's free your mind. So whatever, we continue on the dialogue, anything you want to type in the conversation or call in at 312-597-2106. The Chris Base channel with a period at the end of the channel. Make sure you subscribe, like, and share. Make sure you do that. Facebook Live. We're doing that simultaneously. Also, of course, you can comment in the comment section. You can do all that. Comment in the peanut gallery. Also, be so bold, ask for the link, and I'll put you through that way. So, again, got all these various ways to connect to Free Your Mind Friday. Let's see. There's another story I want to do real quick as we continue on with the excursion here. Got it. Okay. Move that over here. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I got some more. Let me get this real quick here. Let's see. When I was a teacher, I had my groupies. Let's see. They competed to make cakes for my birthday. Okay. Nasty stuff. So I gave it to the football players. They loved it. Shame on me. Okay. Again, so you had teachers. When I was a teacher, I had groupies. They competed to make make cakes for my birthday. Nasty stuff. Okay. See, Lorenzo, now I opened the Pandora's box. What kind of nasty stuff are you referring to? What kind of nasty stuff did these groupies compete for your affections, for your birthday cake? See, now I got to spill all it right now. Now I got to spill all the tea, peach tea, green tea, whatever tea you're sipping on, iced or cold. See, now you got to bring it out forward. What were they doing? So that nasty cakes. But yeah, what were the nasty cakes? What do they look like? We're doing a deep dive, literally, into that. Woo-wee. Oh, help. So, yeah, so that's interesting right there. What you talking about, doctor? Let's see here as we continue on. Get this real quick here. The View co-host Anna Navarro pleaded with musical icon Gloria Gaynor Thursday to reject her upcoming Kennedy Center Award because it will be bestowed by you know who. In a post on Instagram, the political commentator shared how she once met the I Will Survive singer at a concert, and Gaynor gifted Navarro a keychain that belted out her famous song. Well, you say, however, uh, they had some mothers come up to see me with better homemade cakes. Oh, okay. Well, if you want to disclose the nasty cakes, I'll go along with that. Everybody got their thing. You got, you got all these different bakeries and things like that. You can come up with a whole thing called nasty cakes. I'm sure they're out there, but yeah, to get your own franchise up and running. Nasty cakes. Let's see. Let's just say during the first Trump term, I pressed it till it ran out of batteries, the anti Trump commentator wrote. She then expressed her displeasure that Gaynor will be honored at the event hosted by the president. He wants to host the event on TV by December. Yesterday, Trump announced he picked her to receive a Kennedy Center honor, which he plans to host. Look, the woman is a goddess and deserves all the flowers that come her way, but I wish she wouldn't accept an award from the hands of a man who has attacked the rights and history of women, people of color, and LGBTQ, she wrote. The gay community, in particular, helped turn her signature song into an anthem. Trump is a stain on the prestige and significance of the Kennedy Center honors. Please don't do it, Gloria, Navarro pleaded. On Wednesday, Trump, the new Kennedy Center chairman of the board, announced the list of entertainers who will receive the award at the 48th Annual Kennedy Center Honors in December. Gaynor joins country legend George Strait, rock band Kiss, Hollywood star Sylvester Stallone, and English actor Michael Crawford as the honorees this year. A rep for Gaynor told Fox News Digital after the announcement Wednesday that she was beyond blessed and honored to be receiving this award. My hope is that in accepting this award, I can continue with the inspirational phenomenon that began with I Will Survive, sharing my music and art on a global level to provide encouragement, hope, empowerment, inspiration, understanding, and unity is the core of my purpose. I've always focused on a creative path that will help others, and I hope that being awarded the Kennedy Center honor will help me continue this legacy. Trump will host the annual award show as overhauled in Washington, D.C. Performing Arts Center in February. After his second term, Trump fired several Kennedy Center board members, including the president and chairman of the board, and replaced them with pro-Trump figures who named president and named him as the chair. Let's see. Always something with this dude. Good for Anna Navarro. I'm concerned that Gloria Gaynor performing at the Kennedy Center. Yeah, I am too, really be honest with you. Let Kid Rock or the Village People perform instead. Thank you, Diane. Trump, T. Rump need a black person to honor. Well, yeah, he put in there just for color's sake. When you think about it, I would not, me personally, would not accept it. That's just me. I hope that Miss Gaynor heeds the call what Anna and maybe others are saying to her, because from this man, he's just vile. And he picked these people out. So there you go. It looks good from the standpoint of the person receiving the award, but because of who it is, and was someone who just ambushed the KCH, Kennedy Center Honors, to install himself as president. And I said this before, because in his feeble, weak mind, he thinks he is a celebrity. Not the celebrityism that comes from just being the president. I'm talking about him like on TV and movies type of celebrity. That's his mindset. So to control the Kennedy Center Honors, to insert himself as chairman of the board and president of the Kennedy Center Honors is laughable. It really is. Don't you have other things to do? Really? There is going to be a UFC on the lawn of the White House, White House next year. Shake my head, classy with a K, absolutely, because he cut that deal with Dana White to do all that. I mean, again, this is not the reality that I'm used to. This is again bizarre world. Dana White, of course, CEO and president of Ultimate Fighting Championships. Could remember the inauguration with all those tech heads there. Dana White was a part of that crowd. You go back and watch the footage. I mean, what's next? Probably WWE wrestling. Watch. Oh, you know what's sick? Was a few weeks ago, they had Trump at a presser, and it was Triple H was there, and they brought in former LA, well, not LA Giants, New York Giants linebacker Lawrence Taylor, and he gets to the mic, and he says some crap, and then he says to President Trump, turns around, "I'm here to serve you." I mean, these people showing their true alliances, man. And I love LT. I think Lawrence Taylor is one of the best linebackers I've ever seen play. But when he turned around and said that to the president, I lost. I lost it. You can obviously align yourself whoever you want to align yourself with, but that broke my heart, man. Because I love the game that he played, being Lawrence Taylor. But I'm here to serve you, said to Trump. Yep. I don't get it. I honestly do not. I don't get it at all. Like I said before, maybe it wasn't meant for me to get. I mean, you try to understand, but again, you just can't. There's nothing to understand because it's ridiculous. It just gets more sick and more sick over time. Let's see. Lawrence Taylor, Jim Brown, Ice Cube, Diddy, all shuck and jive with Rump. Did Ice Cube too? I must have missed that one. Thank you, Lorenzo. Did Ice Cube? I don't remember that one. I vaguely do. I remember Ice Cube, doing the rump shaker with Trump. I don't remember that. I take your word for it. I go back and check. Now, of course, Snoop Dogg. Yeah, I remember that one. Whatever street cred you had was out with me. I remember Snoop Dogg. I remember that. Yes, Cube. Oh, that's a damn shame. Well, yeah, but hell, you work with the man, Ice Cube, doing, of course, the first barbershop movie. Damn, it's a shame. I'm telling you. Uber received reports of sexual assault or sexual misconduct in the United States nearly every 8 minutes between 2017 and 2022, according to sealed court records reviewed by the New York Times. This figure is far higher than the company had previously disclosed. Publicly, Uber has promoted itself as one of the safest transportation options, publishing safety reports and marketing campaigns emphasizing that 99.9% of U.S. trips occur without incident. But the newly unsealed records, part of a large scale litigation against the company, show that Uber logged 400,181 reports of sexual assault or misconduct in that 5-year span. By contrast, Uber's previously released safety reports disclosed 12,522 accounts of serious sexual assaults by the same period, without including the total number of incidents in all categories. Uber has not publicly released similar data for the years since 2022, though court filings indicate incident reports have been increased. Let's see. So when you look at that type of number, of course you're going to fudge numbers and lie because you still want to continue to have people ride in Ubers. And so if you have the bad news out there that is not safe, it's going to decrease patronage. So of course you're going to lie about it. I just think, again, it's just sad because I believe you can request a male or female driver for whatever the purposes of the patronage of that. So you can request either one. And they do it for safety purposes. So when you look at the numbers that have now been leaked for Uber, would you take an Uber? Now, after reading the article, I would think twice about it. Me personally. Let's see. Cube was on his big chase, saying Dems did nothing for blacks, and Trump treated blacks better. Yeah, that's pretty fucked up. He's entitled to his opinion, obviously. I saw recently online that he got into this beef with this comedian, Ari Spears. Ari Spears is a comedian. He used to be on Mad TV, doing a lot of stuff online, goes coast to coast with that, and got into this beef with Ice Cube, saying Ice Cube wasn't, some of the lines of wasn't one of the top MCs or rappers and everything else. He said that, meaning Ari Spears, that he respects Ice Cube the man, but not Ice Cube pretty much the performer. And I'm paraphrasing that. And I remember I saw online that, Ice Cube clapped back talking about he didn't know who he was, and most people that hate his guts are haters anyway, something like that. So yeah, I'll say it like this: some people would do something strange for a piece of change. Like the whole thing before we reported this on this program about Dean Cain, of course, the former Superman actor on Lois and Clark, the Superman Adventures on ABC. And now all of a sudden, here's Dean Cain promoting and being a part of ICE. No, not Ice Ice Baby. No, we don't know. When you say, wow, that's good info, I use Uber often in Chicago. Yeah, I did. You never know until you pick up something and read it. You just never know. I didn't know either. It does make you think twice. Just I like what Margaret Cho said to Dean Cain. What did he say? What did she say? I love Margaret. Margaret Cho, I think, is one of the best. Margaret Cho had a sitcom on ABC once upon a time ago. I remember her grandmother in the series. I'm not familiar with the actress's name, but she was in it. They were talking about I think they worked at or owned. I think they owned the grandparents or the grandmother owned a video store. That's how old the show is about videos. So she owned a video store, and I believe I don't know if she owned a video store. Now I'm trying to think back to the scene, but the grandmother saw a X-rated video. She thought it was Free Willy, the video, the movie, but she saw Free Your Willy, and she said, "I saw Free Your Willy. It's good." I remember it was actually a decent program. I think it was called All American Girl, Margaret Show. You can check it out. You can check it out if you want to, but I think that was it. But man, that was a hell of a good show. I don't think it had a long run, but it was good. It was on ABC. Margaret Cho. That's when I started to watch her work, and kind of went from there. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see. As we continue on, again, continue to comment in the comment section there. Let's see here what we got. Let's go back to Jet. Sold out your ancestors' own fam experience camps. I think you will never be in the white boy club. She reminded. Oh, good for her. Thank you for sharing that, Jed. What Margaret Cho said about Dean Cain. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And once again, there's a price for anything that you do, especially in a situation where you. Right, I agree with that. You sell out. Don't give two damns. Not at all. How you doing, Ann? Good evening, Chris and Base Nation. How you doing, Ann? Of course, Enniver and her brother Mark are the official chefs here on BaseLine. So you know what time it is, Enniver. Please give us the dinner menu. Whatever it is going to make us drool. That's her job. Let's see here. Get back here. So yeah, please let us have it. An extraordinary news conference on Monday, 47 revealed plans to take over the Washington, D.C. Police Department and deploy National Guard troops in the nation's capital to combat what he says is rampant violent crime that stats show is actually decreasing. He went on to say, "We're here for a very serious purpose. Very serious, very," Trump said. "Something's out of control, but we're going to put it in control very quickly, like we did in the southern border. I'm announcing historical action to rescue our nation's capital from crime, bloodshed, bedlam, and squalor, and worse. This is Liberation Day in D.C., and we're going to take our capital back." He said he was declaring a public safety emergency in order to put the Washington Police Department under federal control and station the National Guard on the city streets. Trump announced that Attorney General Pam Bondi will be taking command of the Metropolitan Police Department, and DEA Administrator Terry Cole will be interim federal commissioner on the force. He delivered his message standing beside Bondi, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia Janine Pirro. You see, remember these two knuckleheads used to be on Fox News. Now they got a government job. I like that. And Interior Secretary Doug Burgum, who will play a role in the takeover Trump announced. Also, of course, FBI Director Kash Patel. Let's see. Help me, Jesus. Okay, now tonight I went out and saw Denzel watch the new movie. I'm not cooking tonight. Okay, cool. You need a break. I don't blame you a bit. Shoot, good for you. I'm telling you. Let's see. Jed, this is the end of time to Jed. I haven't seen The Bear yet. Okay. I go back to this question. Eva, do you watch The Bear? Chef? Yes, Chef. Okay, so that's that series. You can catch it on Hulu. I think it's from FX, if I stand corrected. Let me know. I've seen the promos for it, for The Bear, which is based here in Chicago, as I do recall that. Again, looking at the statistics that DC has, this makes no sense whatsoever. None. But this is going back to 47. Doesn't make sense anyway. But this makes no sense to federally take over DC. Here's why. These are the numbers, of course, for DC and other cities. Let's start with DC. Down 26%. DC violent crimes are down compared to 2024. Again, 26%. 30-year low in DC violent crimes. Now, murder rates down in major cities. In Los Angeles is down 20%. Here in Chicago, down 33%. And in New York, down 32%. Washington, D.C. crime statistics compared to last year's crimes. All crimes are down 7%. Homicide down 12%. Aggravated assault down 20%. Violent crime down 26%. Robbery down 28%. And the major one here, sexual abuse down 50%. I kid you not, say it again for the cheap seats. Sexual abuse in DC statistics down 50%, 50. But yet, the so-called president wants to invoke federal troops in DC. Of all this, again, crime wave and squalor and everything else he stated. Okay, so Enterprise said to Diane Hawkins, what are you cooking, sis? Okay, she's throwing the gauntlet to our very own Diane Hawkins, who, of course, again, is the pickleball champion here on BaseLine, asking her, what are you cooking tonight? Okay. Let's see. Denzel Washington's movie was good, a Spike Lee joint. Oh yeah. Their collabos over the years has been beyond fantastic. Over the years, going back to Mo Better Blues, of course, and of course Malcolm X. Yeah, they have a good actor director relationship. They really do. Even when you go back to any actor director, they just form a bond. You can even compare that to Johnny Depp and Tim Burton, Alfred Hitchcock when he worked with Cary Grant, and especially Jimmy Stewart. So yeah, that type of bond, yeah, that's pretty cool because you can only. It's not too many people you can work with where you just vibe like that. You just had a relationship. And Spike, I think, holds the honor for working with both father and son because he worked with his son, John, which is also cool. Let's see. The Washington family are very talented. Let's see here. Almost saying get this. Yep, John David Washington. Yep, directed him. Let's see. Yeah, Black Klansman was the movie that he directed. that Spike directed him, meaning Denzel's son, John David Washington. Eh, yeah, man. So yeah, you gotta check it out. And I told you the last movie I saw was Sinners. Michael B. Jordan. Yeah, man. Yeah, that was nice. That was I still recommend it. I gotta give him a copy of that. That's again, that's gonna change the game. As I said before in this program, where you had someone like uh, Ryan Coogler to own the whole movie outright, 100%. That is all his. I just split it with nobody. All that belongs to him as director. Yeah, that's game changer. And going back to the whole DC thing and bringing in federal troops, I hope it's not a precursor. Get it? Precursor? I hope not a precursor. Catch precursor usually on Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Central. Anyway, on your social media. And of course the Chris Base channel. Period. Okay, plug. I hope not a precursor to martial law. I hope not. Because he said we're gonna do the same thing in Chicago. He said that, meaning 47 at the presser on Monday. So I don't think he'll do it because again he has to strike fear in the people. Of course, the classic fear mongering, which is what he's good at. Because they fall for the okie doke, they really do. So in that capacity, the reason why he'll do it is because to come into the state of Illinois to run a rec shop because J.P. Pritzker, who he made fun of during the press, talking about he needs to lose, not lose weight, but he's losing weight, and he probably was running for the presidency and something like that. So try to embarrass Governor Pritzker here in Illinois, and of course Chicago, which is of course where Barack Obama is from. And Barack lives rent free in the skull and the mind of the president. He can't let Barack go. He can't let him go. I mean, that was years ago at the, at the correspondence dinner when he was president, meaning when Barack was president. But no, he can't take it. I love the Sinners movie. I love the soundtrack as well. Enema Types. Oh yeah, classic. Already classic. Classic in real time. Let's see. Okay. No charges will be filed against the police officers involved in the shooting death of Dexter Reed, the Cook County State's attorney said. Cook County State's Attorney Eileen O'Neill Burke put forth an extreme detailed presentation aimed at explaining step by step not just what happened on that day, but also why she says there's no legal justification to charge the officers involved. This decision is not reached lightly, nor does it diminish the tragedy that has occurred, Cook County's State's Attorney Eileen O'Neill Burke said on Wednesday. On March 14, 2024, Reed was killed during a confrontation with Chicago police officers in East Garfield Park following a traffic stop for an alleged seatbelt violation. The COPA official said 96 96 shots were fired in 41 seconds by 4 Chicago police officers, all members of a CPD tactical team at Reed during the traffic stop near Humboldt Park and Garfield Park. The medical examiner said Reed was shot 13 times, later died at Mount Sinai Hospital. Body-worn cameras show Reed ignoring officers' repeated commands to get out of the car before he fires first, injuring one officer in the hand. It was ultimately that the issue that O'Neill Burke said led to her office not to file charges against the officers involved. It goes to the officers' reasonable belief that, and that the officers reasonably believe that they're in danger of imminent death or bodily harm or others, O'Neill Burke said. You also have to look at the ongoing activities. It wasn't just firing one shot at an officer, it was the continued firing at officers. It was proceeding forward with the vehicle and crashing, and then getting out of the vehicle in that crouching position, said Cook County's Assistant State's Attorney Lynn McCarthy said. So those are all circumstances. The decision is that the latest in the series of setbacks for Reed's family. Last April, City Council's Financial Committee voted against a $1.25 million settlement agreement negotiated by city lawyers. It never gets any better. I've been doing this now for a while. I ain't new to this, covering stories like this. And they, meaning particular white folk in power, continue to protect their own. I can quote you chapter and verse. When a police officer draws his weapon or her weapon, and say, for example, get out the vehicle, and something happens in this melee, despite the body cam, if they're investigated, they'll say, "I fear for my life." That's the go-to line. I fear for my life. So I gotta, I gotta unload all of this in my chamber. 96 shots. 96 shots in 41 seconds. Think about that. And all of them would not see any type of jail time whatsoever. These people are protected. I told you many times. I believe it. It goes back to what Malcolm X said, oh, those many years ago. They trade in the sheets for nightsticks. They traded in the sheets for guns. Why? They have a license to kill niggers. I believe it. You don't see too many cases of it was a white cop pulling over a white driver in the vehicle. I don't hear about them getting shot up. I watch the news when I can. Maybe I missed that. You may see every now and again some disagreement or argument between the white driver and the white officer, but I don't see them pulling out their guns and then loading on. I don't see 96 shots in white people. Yeah, all this fear for my life bullshit. Not saying you don't have the right to fear for your life. Yes, police officers are out there doing the most. They're protecting us. But who's going to protect us from the police officers? We're taxpayers. We pay their salaries. Are we paying their salaries for open season on black folk? I don't think so. It never changes. Now, in this situation, they walk free. Literally, the white cops who shot this man, who shot Dexter Reed. What's happened before? All I got to do is change the names of these poor victims. You change the names. Why? Because they're people of color. There's always open season on us. Always. Because usually how it goes down is because, as I told you, this scenario, shoot the page, shoot to kill. I fear for my life. There's internal affairs investigation, and sometimes, usually the story fades out. You don't hear from it ever again. because by that time the investigation is over with. Either they let go of the officers involved, depending on how many were involved, or they just move them to another precinct. Do the same thing all over again. It's just as bad as when they have pedophile priest. They investigate the priest and investigate the people involved, the children involved, mostly boys. And then when they find out all this going on, instead of getting rid of the priest, what they'll do is that they'll put them to another church, another parish. Do the same thing all over again. Same thing with these cops. They're not reprimanded for what they did. And I dare say behind closed doors, I think probably some of them are rewarded for killing niggas. Hate to go there, but it is diabolical. It is. Think about it. If you are a racist white, let's go with a racist white man. So you go to the academy, keep your racism to yourself, go to the academy, pass with flying colors, you become a cop, go through the whole rookie thing and everything else, and pretty much you are licensed to kill black folk with no remorse whatsoever. It's about the ones who are racist, the ones who, of course, infiltrate organized situations. They're everywhere. They just pop up and show up. They're everywhere. But when you're able to have that, what kind of great freedom do you have? Have a license to kill black folk, kill niggas. They don't know they know exactly who they are. I'm not gonna tell you that, but they hide behind that badge. You always heard the term, bad apples spoil a whole bunch. Well, goddamn it, get rid of them. Excommunicate them. Make sure they don't work ever again. If you're that serious, but they are protected not only by the fraternal order of the police, but again, it's the mentality of shooting and killing people of color. Don't give a goddamn about it. Not at all. Nor will they ever. Fuck that. I fear for my life. That's whose life I fear, not theirs. We talked about Ice Cube earlier. When he was talking about the song, don't make a false move, keep your hands on the steering wheel. I don't drive anymore, but I was driving. When I first got my license, my dad would tell me, though, be careful of those white cops. I'm telling you, be careful. Be careful, son. To be a black man in this country, I'm telling you, you already got the scarlet letter put on you just by the way you look. When you walk into a store, son, you're going to have the people follow you around because they think you're going to steal something. That's the damnedest of shame. I got time to steal. That's not my purview to steal anything. But because I'm black, I'm a black man at that, stereotypical. I got a 5-finger discount. I ain't there. I'm trying to purchase something and give me the hell up out of there. And when he pulled over, yeah, I fear for my damn life. Mm. Let's see. Back to the comment section. I'm pushing hard for people to see Freaky Tales, the 80s vibe. Jed. Okay, what's that? What's that about? Where can we find it at? The police are emboldened, Diane type. Oh, of course they always been emboldened, but now with you know who and all this about the law and order president, all that bullshit. Oh yes. Oh yes, absolutely. Let's see. To your point earlier, why aren't ICE rolling into TN or the next state, Tennessee or the next state with the highest reported crime? Blatant. Well, Jay, you're right, but again, this is all smoke and mirrors. This is, of course, wag the dog. The real reason why all this is going on in D.C. and we're going to do the same thing in Chicago, all that bullshit, is to deflect about Trump being in the Jeffrey Epstein files. This is what all this is about. This is what all about. No matter what you throw at us, the public, what is it that you're hiding? You're the so-called law and order president. When you talk about law and order on NBC, we're talking about real life law and order. You consider yourself that president, then why aren't you so deflective, giving everybody the arm stiff, the stiff arm, the Heisman Trophy stiff arm at that when it comes to this situation with you being involved with Jeffrey Epstein? You can do all these things you want. You can throw out the federal troops to be in D.C. Well, D.C. is, once again, violent crime rate is down to 26% currently as compared to last year. The homeless out there being homeless. Well, they're homeless people, for God's sake. If you want to get stuff done, why don't you try to help these people and get them homes or somebody could call home and lay their heads down at night? No, we can't do that. No, we ain't here to help people. We're here to, just stomp and run wreck shop, and again, possibly getting into martial law. Be in bed by 6 p.m. That's where we're heading. That's what he wants to do, meaning 47. Doesn't have to be that way, and it should not be that way at all. But he wants that overall power. Again, that funky dictatorship. Again, because his heroes are dictators. So he wants to be like them. He wants to walk like them. He wants to talk like them. Can't help himself. Does the Epstein files matter? He's already a convicted felon. Nothing seems to stick. Well, Diane, I said this on the program before. I think that let's say, for example, the files are open. Let's say, for example, he's been caught on tape, files, whatever, having sex with young girls. I think people won't care. I think people will not give two damns about that. You're right. Convicted felon, been impeached his first time go around as president, twice, I believe. And once again, part of this nation has justified his bad behavior. But he keeps deflecting. So he must feel that whatever is in this file is going to bring him down, or at least put a stain on the so-called presidency. So why are you running scared for? Because again, we wouldn't have all this. We know this before. See, once again, the dog don't hunt no more. You got the old playbook. They don't want to hear it no more. They want to see if you are the man you think you are, and come forward with these tapes. If you have nothing to hide, then why are you running? What you should be talking about is Obama. Go tell the press that. What you should be talking about is Biden. He went back to Hillary Clinton. He throwing everybody the kitchen sink and nothing's sticking. Everything is thrown at the wall, nothing is sticking. Nothing. So what do? You create another quote unquote plausible diversion. That's what you do. So honestly, Diane, I think whatever's in that file and it comes out, it wouldn't matter. You've already justified his behavior already. What's some more that coming out? It wouldn't do a lick of good. It has to be something, big time for him to be running this scared and again to be removed from office. Do I want him removed from office? Of course I do. Of course I do. but it has to be hardcore. I said this before. The only way he'll be taken down, it has to be Julius Caesar. Has to be a coup. The politicians around him have to take him out. That's the only way I can see it. I said that, or again, he pisses Putin off. When Putin don't play, he'll find a way to take his ass out, or at least embarrass him to the point where he has to leave the presidency. So those are the scenarios I think. But here in America, it would have to be Julius Caesar. It would have to be. I don't know. What do you think? Let's see here. Halle Berry used Instagram to offer a response to her ex-husband David Justice's recent comments about their marriage as she marked her 59th birthday. Quoting Few, cooking, cleaning, and mothering, Berry wrote in a caption to her Instagram post. Justice, the former Major League Baseball player, and Berry were married from 1993 to 97. Let's see. So Halle Berry celebrating her 59th birthday and offering a response to her ex-husband's recent comments that she didn't really seem like motherly during their marriage. Ooh-wee. Berry, who turns 59 on Thursday, August 14th, shared a carousel of photos of herself and her boyfriend, Van Hunt, a tropical vacation, as well as photos of a card that appeared to be from her 2 children and a snapshot of her birthday cake to celebrate the big day. Let's see. This is what David Justice said. My knowledge and my understanding, my wisdom around relationships just wasn't vast, he said during that podcast. So he said, so I'm looking at my mom and I'm a Midwest guy. So in my mind, I'm thinking a wife at that time should cook, clean, be traditional. Then I'm thinking, okay, if we have kids, is this the woman I want to have kids with and build a family with? At that time, as a young guy, she didn't cook, don't clean, don't really seem like motherly, and then we have start having issues. Justice, who has been married to his wife Rebecca since 2001, mentioned about this during the interview. The former athlete also said that he and Barry probably could have made it if I knew more about therapy during the marriage. He never had any major issue like that. It's just because I was young, I had only been in one real relationship before her. He said of the marriage's breakdown. So he's pretty much saying that had he had some, counseling, that maybe they could have worked out between her, but both of them, Halle Berry and David Justice. But cooking and cleaning, to say that that's what you want in a wife in this situation, you talk about her just doing it by herself, then you definitely in the Stone Age, Doc. You gotta get your head out of there or get hit upside the head with one of those one of those big clubs that they used back in the day. You see the cartoons where the guy hits the woman on the head with the club and drags her hair on the ground. No. Let her hit you upside the head with that club. Whoever you select or have an idea about possibly boyfriend slash girlfriend, whatever you want to call it, in relationship, of course you have prototypes, a certain height, a certain weight, whatever is on that person's body, whatever they look like, whatever build they have, their mind, their intelligence, where they're coming from, where they're going. So they have a prototype. So you want to throw in the whole cooking and cleaning thing? Okay, cool. I mean, that's what happens. See, of course, it's different, obviously, when you're dating because you're not cohabitating together. You're living in separate places. But you start to live together, whole different vibe. So what you do is, of course, is a testing ground. You're living together, you're sharing rent, whatever, responsibilities together. So now you're living together. Now you got to put up with, I would use the word put up, but you know what I mean. Put up with the other person's idiosyncrasies. Leaving clothes on the plate. One may be messy, one may be neat, kind of like a la the odd couple or something like that. Maybe you're both messy or you're both neat freaks. You don't know until you work it out, until you get in there. Now again, the shared responsibilities are there. Like when I was coming up, my mom cooked and my dad cooked. As far as doing the stuff around the house, that was mostly dad. Then it was mostly me. That's when I realized that I was a slave watching the Roots in the 70s. But watching my mother and father, it was a tag team thing. Sometimes my mom cooked and my dad cooked or something like that. So then to hold the house thing clean up, that was more my dad. My dad liked to bark out orders to her to have the house be clean, not to my mom, but to me. And eventually my sister didn't start cleaning until she was like 12 or 13. She had it made for years. But my point is to watch your parents' dynamic, how they work, parent or parents. That's also a prototype for what you want in a mate. That's just my guess. I was an expert at it, but that's just my observation on the whole thing. So, in David Justice's mind, saying that if I would have got some therapy, maybe we could have worked it out. And he's right, because when you're young, you're still trying to figure things out and you're growing into yourself. And sometimes, you allow yourself to evolve and change. Maybe what you liked in 20, by the time you hit 40, could be different in what you want and like in a potential mate. We go back to the comment section. Let's see. Diane typed earlier. And then we're stuck with JD Vance if something happens to Trump. We'll go back to that. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you can't win to some degree, but and JD Vance, I mean, here's the guy who did a 180. Here's the guy, you go back and check the record, he denounced Trump. I think he called Trump in comparison to Hitler or called him Hitler. And all of a sudden, he's his running mate. And he eventually became vice president. My God. Yeah. Just goes to show you that fine/beauty isn't all it's cracked up to be. I guess women must bring more to the table than looks, as Walter types. I think, again, it's a 50-50 split between both people, obviously, in a relationship. You just can't have a 60-40. This ain't soul men between Bernie Mac and Samuel Jackson. What do you mean 60? We talk about 60-40. We talk about 70-30. We talk about 50-50 on either side. That's what you have to bring. In any relationship, as far as I'm concerned. No, not that, you do a little bit more and I do a little bit less. That's not how it's going to work. You will be fighting all the time. All of the time you're fighting. So who wants that? Mm-mm. Hell nope and nope. Yeah, so no. You know what you want in a relationship, and hopefully you get a chance to find that person, no matter who they are. Sometimes it's just not compatible. Sometimes as you get older, you can get separate. You can separate from that person. Not only not physical, but relationship wise, emotionally, that happens. I went back and watched and rewatched Raising the Sun with Sidney Poitier and Ruby Dee on TCM, Turner Classic Movies. And the mother says something very profound. And once again, I think had she lived, Lorraine Hansberry would have been completely dynamic in her work that went to Broadway and plays. She would have been like pre-August Wilson. She would have been that dynamic. So unfortunately, we lost her, and she passed away years ago. But Raising the Sun is still dynamic. So after saying that, there's a scene where the mother says to Walter Lee Younger, the son, and I'm paraphrasing, it's not good for a man to find happiness outside his home or find peace outside of his home. That stuck with me for years. And she was right. And coming out the mouth of the mother, who of course is the wisest of the Younger family, it was a brilliant piece of work. And for her to say that to her son, it really had me thinking because she was correct in her assessment. Because your home, it should be your place for peace and serenity, not outside. Okay, damn shame to hear this one when it happened. Danielle Spencer, who played the precocious youngster Dee Thomas, 1970s ABC sitcom What's Happening, died. She was 60 years old. Spencer died Monday in a hospital in Richmond, Virginia. Her What's Happening co-star Haywood Nelson told The Hollywood Reporter she was diagnosed with breast cancer and underwent a double mastectomy in 2014, and in 2018 underwent surgery to relieve bleeding on her brain. A GoFundMe page was set up to help her pay for her medical expenses. She suffered for a very long time, but did it with great deal of courage, this is what Nelson said. A co-producer by All in the Family, Bud Yorkin, What's Happening was loosely based on 1975 film Cooley High. Eric Monti wrote the movie screenplay and created the Watts-based sitcom. After a successful 4-week run that started in August 1976, the comedy returned in November of that year and then went on for another 2 seasons. Spencer played Dee, the smart aleck younger sister of Raj Thomas, played by Ernest Thomas, and daughter of Mabel, played by Mabel King. And she became known for her catchphrase, ooh, I remember that. It got on my nerve. I'm going to tell mama. Nelson portrayed the down-to-earth Dwayne on the show. Of course, also Fred Berry played Rerun. She reprised the role for the sequel What's Happening Now, which aired for another 3 seasons starting in 1985. Spencer went on to become a veterinarian back in 1993, and James L. Brooks hired her to play one of his 1997 film As Good as It Gets. She had a great love for animals. She was like Betty White in that way, Nelson said. She also had uncredited bit parts in such films as Serpico 1973 and Harry and Tonto 1974 before landing the role in What's Happening when she was 11, bringing her and her family to California. And that was rough. I remember in real time watching like most of us did. I hated Dee. I ain't gonna sit here in front. I hated her because I don't little sister myself, Tiffany, who I talked to earlier in the first hour, as you heard, got on my damnedest of nerves. So I'm trying to watch TV for escapism, and here's Raj with her sister. Ooh, I want to tell mom. I'm like, oh, shut the fuck up. But yeah, it was I like the show. Diddy got on my nerve, but yeah, what can I say? It was funny. And gave her all the best lines and stuff like that. Usually what they do with kids, that's what they do. They play upon that situation. Dee Thomas, yep. What's Happening Now? So yeah, I remember reading her accomplishments, of course, in Jet Ebony over the years, and in some entertainment magazines. Just the fact that she was able to continue on and have a life, because You know how it is with most child actors, it doesn't work out well for some reason. But I'm happy that she had a life outside of the industry. I'm sorry for all that she went through pain wise, but well, some people say, spiritual wise, spiritually she's free. But thank you, Danielle Spencer, for giving us entertainment and also inspiration. Because as my man said, to have dignity going through all that, the breast surgery, the mastectomy, and the unfortunate bleeding on the brain. Another thing she was going through, that's not easy. I'm telling you, it's not. But depending on who you are, you must have faith and you must believe because it does help. All right, we're a little bit overtime, so we're about to skedaddle. Again, wherever you are, if it's hot or wherever you are like that, please continue to be safe and stay indoors if it's hot where you are. Or depending on where you are, get out and stretch. Get out and get some air. Again, tell somebody you love them. Do not take advantage of the time we have on earth because it's definitely not promised to us. And yeah, do that. It will definitely help because it makes you feel good inside. Have a good weekend. Let's see, on my end, I'll just chillax. See if I can find some of my favorite food. There's this great Jamaican place I've been patroning recently. It is, and I'm not a big Jamaican. I like Jamaican food. I'm gonna go gaga over it. This place, oh my god, their rice and peas is delicious. Just rice and peas, but they have like a rice and peas with a certain gravy, on it. Some people have some gravy. Yeah, we have a gravy. Oh, it's delicious. I've been recently having their lamb dishes, their jerk lamb. Oh my god, their chicken is fantastic. So yeah, I might get some of that this weekend. So we'll see. And again, get out and have some fun. In the temperature we're living in, you can deface that by showing love and appreciation for life. Don't buy into what you see. Don't buy into what you hear. Be aware of it, but don't buy into it. We need your voices. We need your strength. We need you to fight with us. We can't do it alone, and nor can you. Continue to be safe. Continue to be sound. Continue to be healthy. And more importantly, above anything else, continue to be loved. Long live the peace. Long live the funk. More power to you. And definitely imparting with all of you. Make sure you do the following. Always keep your head up.